Hey y'all, it's John Shen from Down Into Comics, and I've got some Transformers news for you today. But before we get into it, I would like to ask if you could please hit that subscribe button. It helps us counteract YouTube and Google's algorithm. The more people subscribe, the more people will be able to see this video. With that out of the way, we have a report from Deadline that there are 2 Transformers spin-offs in the works at Paramount. The first is from Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Independence Day 2 Resurgence writer James Vanderbilt. And the second is from John Wick Chapter 3 producer Joby Harold. Deadline's Anthony D'Alessandro details that the Vanderbilt script, which has been in development since April, is reportedly adapting the animated Beast Wars cartoon. If you don't know about Beast Wars, it was originally an animated cartoon that aired from 1996 to 1999. The series saw the Maximals as descendants of the Autobots and Predacons as the descendants of the Decepticons. The Predacons were led by Megatron, a namesake to the original Decepticon leader, while the Maximals were led by Optimus Primal. The series saw Megatron and the Predacons attempt to gain power through the location of Energon. So this was kind of post the original Transformers series. So these Predacons and Maximals were searching for Energon, and Megatron was going to use this location of the Energon as a way to gain power over Cybertron. In order to stop him, Optimus Primal and his team are dispatched. There's a kind of battle in space between the 2 ships. They eventually both end up traveling through time and space and land on a prehistoric Earth where there is an abundant source of Energon. Not only is there an abundant source of Energon, but it's extremely rich. This forces the Predacons and Maximals to abandon their robotic forms and adopt organic forms. So not only did the series feature Optimus Primal and Megatron, but we also got Rat Trap, Dinobot, Cheetor, Scorponok, Tigatron, Rhinox, and Black Arachnia. The show would eventually see the Maximals and Megatron return to Cybertron, and there would be a sequel series called the Beast Machine series. That series would take place back in the future on Cybertron, where the Maximals are fighting for Cybertron's independence after Megatron had escaped their custody in transit and was able to arrive on Cybertron before the Maximals, and then he proceeded to conquer it and take it over, and the Maximals are fighting for independence. So if Paramount does plan on adapting Beast Wars, it could be its own franchise by itself. Obviously, it's kind of a sequel to the original Transformers series, but it could stand on its own as well. The cartoon was well loved, and it also removes any kind of a human element. It would be primarily a film and franchise focused on the Transformers instead of Earth humans, which the current film franchise has put front and center. We first got like Shia LaBeouf's character, same with Wiki, and then we just got the Bumblebee chick who's going to be playing, who's supposedly going to be playing Kate Bishop in the Marvel Studios Hawkeye series. And that's actually something I would be really interested in seeing. I'm really tired of kind of seeing these like really cool robots and monster films looking at both kind of like Pacific Rim and the Godzilla franchise, especially the Godzilla franchise, where there's too much of a reliance on like the actual human plot to drive the story. I'd rather have like, hey, we got these Transformers that are fighting over a rare resource, and like let's create a film around that, and like we don't need any humans. We have the robots fighting it out. Like that's kind of what I want to see. I really like Pacific Rim, the first one, especially. I mean, honestly, you could have done away with obviously you had that really cool speech where like we're going to end. I forget, what does he say? We're going to end the apocalypse. That was a great speech, but like I could have done pretty much without the rest of the human stuff and just given me the robots fighting the kaiju. That would have been freaking fantastic for me. So if they go that direction, I will be very pleased. But the other script that's also said to be in development is supposed to be taking place in the Bumblebee universe. And this is the script from John Wick Chapter 3 producer Joby Harold. If you are unfamiliar with the Bumblebee universe, that's pretty much the main Transformers series that we've seen. Bumblebee they tried to, I guess you could have considered it a soft reboot, although it at the end it has Bumblebee transforming into the Camaro that Shia LaBeouf's Sam Witwicky finds him in at the used car dealership. So it seems like it's pretty connected. It takes place in the 80s. So you would have to assume that this next one would either take place again in the 80s or in the 90s, maybe the early 2000s, if you're going to keep that timeline, the continuity in place. But I think Paramount, there weren't really any details on what this would entail. We did get to see some Generation 1. There was a Generation 1 Optimus Prime. We got to see some Generation 1 Bumblebee in the film. They were nice, but the movie wasn't that great. And I think Paramount would probably be best abandoning that timeline at this point. I'm definitely more of a fan of seeing the Beast Wars being adapted. And if you even look at the numbers, the Bumblebee film made $465.1 million worldwide. That's from thenumbers.com. It's the worst performing film in the franchise, and that's without even factoring in inflation, given that it was the most recent film in theaters. Like I said, I've kind of been hitting on this point a little bit, but if they do go with this Bumblebee universe film, that also ties them to humanity and would pretty much force any scriptwriter to put too much of the human elements on screen rather than the actual Transformers that the films and franchise are named for. So I think that's one thing that those kind of first couple movies did do a really good job. You had Sam Witwicky and everything, but it was more about focused on the Transformers and them fighting, and you had a little bit of the human element there, but you did get to see some pretty cool robot fights, especially with Megatron and a little bit of Starscream. But yeah, I would really like to see a Beast Wars film. That would be something I'd be excited about. I remember sitting on my couch watching that as a little kid. That was one of the shows that I really had to watch every day when it was airing. That and Dragon Ball Z. Those were and obviously you had the X-Men animated series that was on Saturdays. But yeah, I would always try and watch Beast Wars when that came on. So I'd be really excited if they did a live action. I'd be interested in seeing them do that, especially if it's just Beast Wars and we get to see them on a prehistoric Earth. There's no humans yet, and then if they do want to keep it going and follow the animated cartoon series, and we get to see them on Cybertron. That's actually something I did like about the Bumblebee film. We did get to finally see Cybertron and the war happening on Cybertron, so that would be something I would like to see a little bit more, because I actually think that's actually really interesting, and it gets us away from Earth, which Earth is great but I'd like to see more of Cybertron. That'd be a lot of fun. And if you've read any of the comics and stuff, you do get to see a lot of the Cybertron. I really like that Transformers G.I. Joe, where you see the Joes actually are going to Cybertron, and that's actually fun with the human element, where it's military guys doing it instead of kind of your average Joe. But that's kind of where I'm at. I would like to see a Beast Wars film. I don't want to really see anything more in the Bumblebee film. But what do y'all think? Are you interested in seeing any more Transformers films at all? Would you rather see a Beast Wars film or a continuation of the Bumblebee universe, or would you like to have both? So let me know. Leave a comment below, and I'll be interested to see what y'all have to say. My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounty into Comics. I'll see you next time.